Hi everyone, my name is Alina and today I'll be talking about language and racism. Legal institutions and systems, they perpetuate racial inequalities in education, civil rights, healthcare. Racism is present in many societies and it's expressed through language in our schools, workplaces, and communities. Today I'll be talking more about language and racism in workplaces and schools. Racism, it's the belief that human beings can be divided into entities based on inherited physical traits, cultural behaviors, mentality, personality, or intellect. I have some examples of words or phrases that we might use, but we are not aware of their racial implication. Quiet in the peanut gallery, it's something that maybe a teacher says to their loud students, but it was used to describe mostly black people that were sitting in cheap theater seats and they were throwing peanuts when they didn't like the play. No can do, it's something that we used to answer to our mothers maybe, and it was funny, but it actually emerged in the 19th century to mark Chinese immigrants' English speech patterns. As I mentioned before, I want to focus more on the language and racism into schools and workplaces. Racism in workplaces, it's described as racial microaggressions. They are intentional or unintentional, everyday verbal behavior acts that express hostile, uh, negative remarks or insults with the purpose of marginalizing individuals or groups. Racial microaggressions, they have a negative impact on self-esteem, job satisfaction, mental and even physical health. They include white employees considering that their coworkers' employment status it's inferior. Can be remarks like, "Oh, you are so articulate," or even questions like, "How did you get this job? Where are you from?" In 2019, Glassdoor's diversity and inclusion study actually reported that on average 30% of their participants experienced or witnessed racial language at work. This poll included United States, UK, Germany, and France, and the United States reported results above that average, somewhere around 42%. Racism is expressed through language in school also. Another poll done in the UK reported that 70% of the black children are feeling under pressure because of the afro hair. 95% of them are hearing racism language at school, and over 50% consider racism as the primary barrier to their success. There was a second student girl that said, as soon as you get into school, you are taught you are going to have to work twice as hard to get what you want. Some of the participants are feeling labeled as unintelligent or aggressive. Actually, when I was in middle school, I had a classmate that was marginalized by the boys because of the color of his skin. He then started to spend more time with us, the girls, and that gave the boys even more reason to consider him inferior. Their language, their behavior made it really difficult for my classmate to express himself, to disclose to us aspects of his life, his personality, and sometimes because he was spending more time with us or because of the way how he was acting, speaking, he was labeled as soft or girly. There have been many racial lawsuits, and one that I found was of four African American women employed by a health provider, health service provider. They alleged that they were not treated as well as Caucasians, and actually that the president of the company made racial remarks. Based on the witnesses' testimonies, it was proven that indeed the four women were paid unequally, and the law suit firm won the case for them with a settlement of $500,000. Racial language should be avoided, and if we witness it, we should stand up and take measures. Companies should have policies and take actions in order to avoid or prevent discrimination. Their job ads should have inclusive language. They should have trainings for their employees on diversity communication so that they will improve collaborations between employees of different backgrounds. And in working on being anti-racist with our language, it's not about being perfect. It's just about being accountable and to be able to respond with humility when others object. That's it. Thank you.